This is Red Dog Terrain. Welcome back to the shed. Today we're building a jungle skull pool. This whole project started when my friend Hillary asked me about building jungle terrain. I thought this would give me a chance to improve on my flocking and tree building, maybe make a modular path system. When I asked her what she actually wanted, she sent me pictures of old forgotten Mayan ruins. She mentioned needing a pool as well, and that's when the wheels started turning. I started by cutting up a cheap Halloween decoration. I really had to control myself this year during Halloween. There were so many little things I wanted to buy and turn into creepy terrain. Once the lower jaw was removed, I figured out where I wanted the aquarium pump and skull, and then I made a template out of cardboard. I used the template on dollar store foam board to make a base, then I used it again on the thick insulation foam. If you notice, I cut inside lines because I wanted the base to stick out just a little from the pool's edge. I cut out the center, leaving a 3/4 inch edge. I used the part I cut out to make the high dais that the skull would sit upon. This was the first time I'd ever worked with electronics, as simple as this pump was, or water, and it was definitely a learning experience. I did the easy thing of cutting with a knife and accentuating with a pen. While doing this voiceover, I realized how much I used this brick look. My next project has a bunch of stone as well. I'm really going to have to come up with a different way of doing stonework. For this first layer, I wanted to make sure there was a tight seal and it wouldn't leak. I put spackle along all the seams and would later coat it in Mod Podge. However, I would eventually realize that all the spackle was unnecessary. The inside of the teeth looked thin and was obviously cheap plastic, so I glued a strip of foam board inside. I used my hobby knife to accentuate the teeth, a little sandpaper to round off the edges, and now our skeleton has a set of thick, pearly whites. At this point, I thought I was done with the building phase. Yeah, I was wrong. I hot glued a rubber straw to the back of the teeth. I used a lot of hot glue because I knew eventually I would lose access to this part, and I sure didn't want it coming loose and shooting water sideways out of a nostril. The old crumpled up ball of aluminum foil for rock texture. I had to buy my own roll of foil because I got tired of running out to the shed every time I needed to bake something. I was a messy boy with the Mod Podge, and this project was the reason I had to repaint my workbench. You can often find gallons of paint that someone didn't want or was mixed wrong real cheap at Lowe's. I bought a gallon of very light mint years ago and use it all the time. I'm going to take time during this Mod Podge, get it? Mod Podge, to ask you to like, subscribe, and share, or leave a comment. I respond to every comment. This was the first test, and boy was it a failure. For the pump to work properly, or at all, it needs to be completely underwater. The pool I had built barely made it up a third of the way. There was no water, there was no stream, no cool, creepy flow out of the mouth of a long dead deity. There was just the whine of a little pump doing its best. A little frustrated, I kind of sloppily put on a second layer. I cut pieces of thick XPS, a little bit thinner than the first layer, to give it a step look. I did the same bricks and aluminum foil stuff as the first layer. However, this time, instead of spackle, I sealed everything with hot glue. I did this for no other reason than I wanted to quickly move on, and hot glue dries way faster than spackle. Another coat of Mod Podge, and we're moving right along. I noticed there was a gap behind the jaw and the dais, so I added in a few pieces and provided a little bit more stability. Eventually, I would put in a third layer of foam around the pool and raise the skull up higher. However, I felt this was a good place to stop the video because this is before I glued the skull in place and when the water was flowing the best, and I wanted to end on a positive note. Check out this slow-mo of a long, healthy, steady stream.